I did this video backwards. Today we're going to take a Valeton GP-5 and an M-Vave Chocolate Plus, and we're going to do a full rig setup. This is going to be a live setup that you can take out with you and play. You're going to get 4 sounds on here, plus your modifiers on there, and then you can repeat that all the way up to 8 times. Potentially, I can't do the maths.
4 sounds on 8 banks with 2 variations each equals 64.
64! That should do you. I'm going to show you my detailed setup on this, and you can tweak it and tweak the amps and the sounds to suit whatever genre you want. All the principles will be the same. And I'm going to show you in detail how to set the chocolate up to control it all. Before I program anything, I'm going to do a little bit of planning so you can see what you're going to get. Now, in the chocolate, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 banks. We are going to concentrate on one bank. And I'm going to show you how to program that one bank and then how to then replicate what we do into the other banks and switch between them. So you might only need 2 banks, 3 banks, or 1 bank. It's entirely up to you, but you've got potentially 8 that you can switch between. Now in there, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. So you can put a different sound onto each button. And the Valeton has a button as well that lets you turn something on or off. So you've got another little modifier on each of them with the Valeton. What we're going to do is we're going to set these up so you get a bank of sounds that will get you through a song or a set. So essentially you're going to have a clean, you're going to have a pushed clean, so an edge of breaky uppy thing, you're going to have a proper crunch, and then you're going to have a lead sound. Now that's the way I set it up, and I do it in that order, that way around. If something else suits you, that's fine, it doesn't matter. What I show you will still work, but this is how I'm organising it, okay? Now, bank 2, I might take the same sounds, but I might put some different effects on them. So I might have one bank that's for faster songs and one bank that's for slower songs with more reverbs and things like that on it. Or I might have another bank for a different band where I've got a different set of amps. But each of these banks is going to be one cohesive set. Now, what makes it cohesive is something that a lot of people overlook, but it really ties everything together, and it's the most important element in your sound. But we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so my guitar's ready, I'm plugged in, and we're going to go through some of these sounds. Now, I did talk about cohesion, and what I meant by that was sounds that belong together in one setup. So you wouldn't necessarily in the real world have a different amp for every sound, would you? You wouldn't have a Marshall for your lead sound, a Mesa Boogie for your rhythm, a Fender for your clean, and a Vox for your pushy sound. You wouldn't do that. You'd be using one amp, and it would sound like it belonged together. Well, that's what we're going to try and achieve. The most important thing that is the biggest contributing factor to that is your speaker. There's nothing that affects the tone of your guitar more than a speaker. Go and watch any Glenn Fricker video if you don't believe me. So I'm going to use the same speaker for everything in this bank of 4 sounds. If you've got a different set of sounds for a different band or a different kind of genre, that's fine, but take the same speaker across all the sounds you use on that particular bank. Okay? Here we go. So what I'm not going to do here is the YouTube thing of pretending to put this whole sound together and everything in the video on the fly. I've planned it, I've prepared it, I'm going to show you the sounds that I've got and that I'm using. We'll start with a speaker. The speaker I've got is the large cab Solo 4x12. It's a Soldano 4x12, okay? That's, I think, one of my favorites in the whole unit. So we're going to go with that, and I'm going to build the sounds around a Soldano as well, just because I like Soldanos, and why not? If you don't like Soldanos, you want to go Marshall, do that, anything you like, but pick stuff that's in line. I've got Soldano cab, Soldano amp. Don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do to keep everything similar, okay? So this is the cab on its own, and you get... That's with... and without. That's pretty uninspiring. So we're going to add the amp to it, and the amp is going to be the SLO100 OD, and that is going to sound like this. Now, I want to make this my push sound, so that overdrive is way over the top. So all I'm going to do is back that down to 10, and that gets me... Let me tune this guitar. I've got that kind of gain. Now, it's got some crunch, but... I can play soft and it backs off. I can go to a single coil. And I can play it like that, and it gives me string separation and a clean-ish pushed sound. That's what I want. Now, you might hear a little bit of noise on there, so I'm going to use the noise gate to set the gate, turn it all the way down, and just bring it up till the noise stops. That's it. It's not a sophisticated gate, and it works. EQ, now I've done a little bit, but not a lot. It's very, very subtle. I've pulled a little bit of bottom end. I've pulled the 125, and I've pulled the 800. The 400, it's 2 dB down, it's next to nothing. And it gets me from this to... You probably can't tell on YouTube, but it's very, very subtle. Next thing is reverb. I can't live without reverb, and that's on everything. So my reverb is very subtle. When you first turn the thing on, it's way overpowering. So I bring the mix down to 18 and the decay down to about 14, and that gets me just some space. All I'm trying to do is create a cushion around the sound. Okay, so that's that one. Delay, I am going to use some delay. It might not be for you, but I use delay as just a widening thing and a reflective reverb. So in this context, it doesn't necessarily have to be in time because I'm not using it loud enough for that to really matter. All it's going to do is widen things a little bit. So I've got the mix, as you can see, down to 5 and the feedback down to 7. I'm going to turn the trails on. I don't know why I forgot to do that, because you need that. And then the time, I've set it about 320, anywhere between 300 and 350 for this kind of thing, just as an ambient kind of thing. Does really well. So have a listen to this. Oops, turn it on. Hear it? Now, in a band, when other things are happening, that's going to start to disappear very quickly. Already it disappears, but it widens things, and it's nice, and that's why I like it, okay? So that's the basics of my sound. The next thing I'm going to do is add a modulation. There is a however with that and a caveat, because it's not going to be on all the time. So I'm going to set it up first. I'm just going to have a chorus. It sounds like this. I clean it up. It's not the greatest chorus in the world, but it's not bad. Now, I don't want that on all the time, so I'm going to turn it off. And then I'm going to go to patch settings, and if I make sure that that chorus has the little blue square selected. That means that when I press the button on the Valeton, it turns the chorus on and off. You see the colour changing? And the display changes. And then in here, you can see it turning on and off like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that off, save the patch, and go on to the next one. So that's how I get that second sound on all of those patches. And I can do that with whatever extra effect I want on each patch. Now, let's have a look at the next sound. So I've got the push sound. This is my crunch. Largely the same setup. The reverbs are the same. The delay is the same. The EQ is the same. The cab is the same. The noise gate is pretty much the same. I've added a little bit of boost. I may use that, I may not. I might put it on the pedal on the Valeton. But for now, let's just leave that. Let's just turn that off and concentrate on the amp. In this instance, I've left the gain on the amp as it comes, and I've pulled a little bit of the bottom end off, and I get this. You see how the reverbs and the delays make it big and wide as well? And I like that, I like that. Now, for my lead sound, what I've done is I've changed the amp to the Soldano or SLO100 LD. That's the lead version. Again, cab is the same. Noise gate is up a little bit more because it's a noisier amp. EQ is, well, I've pushed 1.6 there ever so slightly to give me that little bitey thing for a lead. Etc, etc. Oh, that's big and metal. Oh, I need to be in a hair metal band. Delay is pretty much the same. I've lifted the mix ever so slightly. It's still a ping pong delay. And the reverb is there. Again, a little bit more, but that's basically it. The sound that's the most different, if anything, is my clean sound. So let's have a look at the clean. Now for the clean, there isn't a Soldano clean channel, so I have to find something else. And what I've gone for is the Foxy 30N, which sounds like this. I've taken the delay off and I've left the reverb on. I've got a little bit of compression on there. So that's the compression settings. There's still a little bit of a noise gate on there because you sort of need it just. And the EQ is set to scoop the mids out like that a little bit. You see what I've done there? 1.6 and 800 are down a bit, but the rest is pretty much as is. Now, what I'm going to do for this one on the patch settings, I'm going to have my modulation and my reverb turn on when I press the button. So this is without. Now, press the button on the Valeton. Hear what I get? In fact, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the mix up on the delay even more. And then I can go back to normal. Funkiness. Spacey. Okay, so we'll put the trails on. I keep forgetting to do that. And that's my basic sounds. Now, to level those sounds, I will go into the speaker cab. And then all you have to do is play like that, flick through your sounds, and figure out which ones are louder. So let's have a listen. That's clean. Better save that, hadn't I? Push. Here straight away the clean is a lot louder. So all I'm going to do is go into the cab and pull the volume down. Guessing there, we'll save that, see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to bring the crunch down a hair, and I'm going to take the lead up just a notch. Maybe a notch more. I will save that. And now I've got a clean. I've got a push. I've got a big crunchy. Oops, big crunchy. Give that a bit more. And a lead. Let's be greedy and save that there. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is program the chocolate. Now, you need to download M-Vave's software suite onto your desktop or the app onto their phone. Either's good, but you do need it to program this. I'm going to go for a phone app. Now let's have a look at setting this up to control your Valeton. Okay. Remember I said this has up to 8 banks, so you've got effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these that you can program. Well, they call them groups. They're in Cube Suite. So let's go into Cube Suite and have a look at how it all works. So when you get into Cube Suite, you have to choose the mode. The one we want is Advanced Custom Mode. Make sure you're in that first of all. Then down a little bit towards the bottom, it says Max Group Count. Now the max group count is how many out of those 8 you want to use. I've already got 2 set up for my Tonex, so I'm going to set this up on group 3. So I'll just say max groups, let's go for 4 just for the hell of it. And then current group, that's the group you're working on. Well, let's go to group 3. So now there are 4 groups available and my current group is 3. My first 2 are for my Tonex, so I don't need to worry about that. But we're setting up group 3 for the Valeton. To switch between them on here, all you do is you use 2 buttons together to switch up and down between those banks. Easy as that. Now we're going to go into individual foot switches and set them up to control the Valeton. There is a little bit of a thing with the Valeton in that it doesn't do program change, which would make life a lot easier, but it doesn't. It insists upon using control change to control the presets within it. So we have to deal with that, but it's not a big deal. Now, there are 2 kinds of MIDI message you can send. You can send program change, which is basically patches, and control change. And the idea was that program change would change the program or the preset or the patch on your device. And then control change would let you change parameters within that preset once you'd got it called up. Not so much on the Valeton, they're just using control change. Let's start with foot switch A. I'm going to tap foot switch A on my phone and there you go, it brings that up. Now inside of there I tap that and it shows me a few bits of information. It shows me the channel, the MIDI channel. I'm going to leave that on channel 1. Then it shows me in this second row I've got PC, CC, note on, note off, sysx, etc. We're only interested in CC, which is control change. So make sure you've got that selected. Then there's 2 datas or 2 numbers. The first number is the thing you are going to change, and the second number is the value you're going to change it to. Now, the Valeton reads control change 0 as your patch change. So I want to make sure I'm on 0 for that, and I am. My first patch is going to be my clean one, and I've set my clean to 50. So I'm going to go to the data there, and I'm going to set that to 50 and save that. Okay, so that's my first one done. Easy as that. Back, foot switch B. Okay, back into it. I'm on CC already, so MIDI channel 1. Data 0, which I want, and we're going to go to 51. Save. Back, foot switch 3, etc. Same thing, 0, and we want 50, 52. Save. Then 4th foot switch, we're going to go in and we want 53. Save. That's it. So all done. Watch this. There is the Valeton and there is the chocolate. So if I press these buttons, you see the Valeton change. There you go. Quick word on setting them up because it can be a little bit finicky, but if you do it like this, it does work. So what I've done is I've powered my Chocolate via USB. Then I've connected the USB host connector to the Valeton. And if you do it like that and you power the Valeton from the Chocolate, it always seems to work. Sometimes you do it other way around and you've got to faff about doing it in the right order and things like that. Do it like this, it's fine, trust me.